Hello everyone, this is Vic Benedict. We're playing Devil May Cry 2013, the reboot, on the hardest difficulty, which is called Dante Must Die. And this is mission 16. It's entitled The Plan. And here we're just doing some platforming and flying around. We're going to have one fight that's optional coming up when there's a 30-second countdown. I mean, I suppose you could kill the enemies if you wanted to, but I've tried it and I haven't succeeded. I mean, what I mean is I've killed the enemies, but there was not enough time to run back into the entrance to the tower where we're headed. So another long video is what we're looking at here. This video is not optional though. You see the obsidian shards in the entrance there? Those will lower once we dispatch this wave. And you'll want to build your devil trigger up as best as you can here by doing stylish attacks and by doing just different combos, and just differentiate your combos. Don't spam attacks here, otherwise you're not going to be able to build up your devil trigger enough. And once you get into the tower, we have a really tough fight with, I think it's a witch and 2 dream runners. But if I'm not if I'm mistaken about the disbursement of the enemies, I don't it's not going to be too completely wrong, but it's a hard fight regardless. So that's just what I wanted to mention. So this fight, I mean, this chapter and the next chapter are the tough ones here. It looks like we have a witch coming into the equation here, and both of whom are susceptible to the angelic arms, so use those. You can also parry. What I wanted to say was the reddish-orange spikes that she throws out. It only takes 2 to fling 2 back at her, and then she will be incapacitated. And then you can either do the running stab over to her, or drag her over to you if you're close enough, and then start hitting her with attacks with the arbiter. But you can also parry those spikes that she throws. You'll have to be. It's not a guaranteed parry, but it's close enough. I mean, if you're comfortable enough with doing the aerial attacks with the what's it called? The Aquila. No, not the Aquila. Just the scythe. It's just a scythe. You twirl it up, and it's got some pretty good range. The Eric's also works pretty. Not the Eric's, but the Aquila. It works toward destroying her shield. But the thing is, she's just not very. She doesn't have too much vulnerability. See, you take her out of the shield, and you don't have many attacks that you can get off before she's back into the shield. So if you can, just use the devil trigger. But I would not use the devil trigger out here. Definitely. What I actually had to do inside was use a small devil trigger and then a large devil star. A small devil star, and a large devil star. So I used those 2 items, and I also used a gold skull earlier. Here's the countdown. Just flee from these guys. And here's the fight that I was talking about. We have the witch, and I know it's 2 dream runners, just what I thought it was. So it's really hard. It's hard to fight the dream runners with the witch here. So if you build some devil trigger up, because you're going to start with nothing coming into this stage, that's just how they manage the difficulty. They don't fill your devil trigger up, but you can get a full health restart just with a checkpoint restart. So just take her out, and as you can see, the devil trigger didn't last very long. So what I'm going to do is apply a small devil star into my inventory and then finish her off if I can. Looks like I was unable to finish anybody off, so then I used a large devil star, and that's just how you have to play. If you come here with no items, I have no sympathy for you, because you've either been extremely wasteful or you haven't purchased anything, and you have a ton of money and you should have purchased something. So I have no sympathy for people. So I do and I don't at the same time. You have to be frugal in these types of games, because their difficulty spikes come up at weird times, and you just don't know when to expect it. If you're playing if, like me, you're playing this difficulty for the first time, and these new enemy disbursements are something you're seeing for the first time, you have to have backup items. It just goes without saying. So there's just one Dream Runner left here. I'm going to take him out. I'm trying to break his poise, but he's guarding a lot, as he's wont to do. But it looks like I got a triangle, or not, the YY, pause, YY combo on this guy. There's no real move that guarantees that you're instantly, I mean, like in Ninja Gaiden 2, XXY delimbed an enemy 99% of the time. And the only reason it might not is because maybe the enemy moved or jerked or something like that. But there's no combo that will break that guy's poise 99% of the time. Sorry about that cutscene right there. It looks like I missed it. But anyway, Kat is narrating this, but it's in the past. Like, she's already laid out the plan, so she's not narrating this in time with the events. So we're kind of hearing these events in the present, but they're kind of recollections types of hearings. There's also pods on the walls to just, you want to turn around every time you go past a new corridor. And we've got some Stygians here, and I don't think I've pointed out the fact that they do a flame attack. So you might be seeing that, and you've probably seen it before, but I mean, look how much you can destroy an enemy if you keep on him. I completely forgot what those guys are called. You know, but if I say chainsaw enemy, there's no question about who I'm talking about. There's that flame attack. Very similar to the ice attack that the Frost Knights do. And that's a great move that I like to do. You hold the Y button until it's charged, and then you release it, and then you press it again to do another stab. Okay, so Virgil is going to take these down for us. And here we have the next battle. I tried to skip this fight, but even though you can go up to the second floor, even though you can go up to the second floor, the elevators are blocked off. It's not the elevators, sorry about that. Anyway, I'm not going to be going into any of these office rooms, but many of them will have pods to break, experience pods. And there's also like a hidden area there's a couple of hidden areas where they're hiding keys. But I just don't do that when I do a guide. I find all the items for myself actually use a guide. I don't waste my time, but did I mention before, I use the Power Picks guide? Really good guide, such a helpful guide. But I did use that to find all the items, even though I did have the item helper, the little beeper on. But I just, for the sake of it, I didn't want to miss anything. So what I do when I do a guide like this is I just collect everything in respect for the guide. It's not because I need all of the health, it's just because I want it. And I want to, it makes me, I think when you see somebody with the full health and the full magic, you just right away think to yourself, okay, well, this guy has gone out of his way to get everything, so he must be more serious than perhaps somebody else who, rushed out a guide or something like that. I don't know, it doesn't mean that necessarily, but I'm just saying that's kind of why I like to do it. It's just because I want to do it. I want to respect the game, and I want to evince a serious attitude, for my guides. But after this, I intend to play Virgil's Downfall. And if somebody could let me know if you have to play through that game on, lower difficulties before you unlock Dante Must Die, or if having unlocked Dante Must Die in this mode, do they just let you play Dante Must Die? Because I haven't accessed Virgil's Downfall because I don't want... normally I'm in the course of a chapter and I don't want to sacrifice my save data and have to restart a chapter, and I just don't trust it yet. So I at this point I haven't played the Downfall, and I'm not going to until this guide is finished. I have patience when it comes to playing things, and I have priorities. Like, the guide's the priority, and then I'll play and experience and enjoy the DLC, and then I will share it all with you guys on the hardest setting. The only fight that really challenges, the one fight that I'm worried about is the final boss fight. It is a pretty tough fight, and it's not a formulaic boss fight, in as much as like the other boss fights are in this game, because it does require you to think about how you're supposed to deal with the situation instead of just doing a pattern. It is a little bit pattern based, but it requires skill, bottom line, and that's good, because I don't want any kind of cheap tactics to stand in my way of a victory. But I'm trying to get the Trinity Smash on this guy. I think 3 Trinity Smashes would kill this guy. But again, I'm having a problem with the combos, the button presses, because I'm used to Ninja Gaiden's inputs where you just press the buttons very rapidly and the hits don't have to connect. I discussed this in the previous video. But anyway, if you were to come up here before that fight concluded, what would happen is that obsidian, that obstruction, it would prevent you from going into the elevators. So there's only 2 skippable fights in this chapter. The one when we had the 30-second countdown, and then there's also some harpies that you can skip near the end of the level. And then that's the extent of the skippable stuff here. So we've got some normal Stygians, and we've got the Dream Runner, and I don't remember who else will come down in here as far as a second wave, but we'll see presently. I'm going to get this health right here. So one of the main reasons I get damaged is because normally it's because of this weapon here. It's because I can't cancel out of an attack, and it's not the game's fault. It's my fucking fault. I will admit, whenever it's my fault, I will admit it. Like I said in a previous video, there's just way too many people on YouTube who are arrogant and whose egos won't let them admit that they made a mistake or that they could be wrong. And I don't understand how a person can be like that, honestly. I don't know. Greed is great. I love that quotation on the wall right there. I was laughing when I saw it. Greed is great. But people who have no self-deprecation, I don't understand them. And I actually don't really like people like that. They can't see, flaws within themselves. But anyway, this guy should be dead pretty soon. I'm getting the demon buffs from doing the demon evades. But most of my attacks, as you can see, they're bouncing off this guy because he's parrying all my attacks. So it's just pretty slow going with these Dream Runners. And what I did right there is because my health was... one hit would have killed me, and my double trigger was maxed out anyway. So this part is a checkpoint here, so you can rely on that. When you get over to here, just restart from checkpoint, and you'll be completely filled up. This is a pretty good idea on these guys to stun them. I think you could also stand on the office. Yeah, you can. There's a cubicle over here, like a large office. Not a cubicle, but an office. You could stand on there and stun them if you want to. So this is a pretty good way to contain them. As you can see, I'm juggling both of them simultaneously. I have the strength, I have the HP damage boost on the side because I had used it and built it up enough. Just remember to watch out for this guy because he's going to charge you if you let him. But I'm going to kill him, I believe, right over here.
Move up to the next floor.
Okay, so we're going to jump up here now. Now, as far as that fight, I can't confirm if you can skip that. You might be able to skip that fight.
Oh, no, you don't.
But I'm not a person that goes around looking at and analyzing every single fight and seeing if I could get away with skipping it. Because, like, what's the point? You're not even playing the game then if you're just fleeing from every enemy. Okay, so getting quite a lot of aerial combos on these guys. The last fight is pretty challenging too, not because of any extremely difficult enemy assortments, but just because I think there's 4 waves. And the next chapter, if it's the one I'm thinking about, the server room, I really dislike that chapter. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take care of it as quickly as I can, and that puzzle, I'm gonna really talk about this fucking puzzle because it's absolutely horrible. That's coming up in the next chapter, so expect a really cutting critique of the puzzle that's going to be in the next chapter. So a Dream Runner here plus the Hell Minions. And I'm just going to use my Devil Trigger since it's already filled up all the way. You might as well use it a little bit if you've got a big group of enemies that you're going to be killing and building up your Devil Trigger, because if you already have it all the way maxed out, any attacks that you do are not going to siphon into it because it's already completely filled up. So you might as well use it a little bit, especially to give yourself a little bit of your health back if you need some, and also to, you know, just use a little bit, maybe to the, you see the bar to the, it's like an inch from the right side of the Devil Trigger bar. There's one on either side. It might be hard to see, but I mean, if you only used it for a couple of seconds, and you know, just maximize your damage that you're dealing with, you know, particularly focus on that Dream Runner because he's definitely the main problem. Anyway, so try to charge up an attack, but it always misses because it's not very, it doesn't have much range. But oh, what I was thinking about over here was somehow getting the Dream Runner into those laser beams. I'm sure it would kill him. I'm almost positive, but I don't know of too many tactics that push enemies from you. So if anyone might know that, leave a comment. It might help somebody else who's struggling here and wants to get those environmental kills, because they do give you bonus points for your style total points. So it looks like this guy's Devil Triggering, and we're just going to finish him off. There we go. Now just a couple of easy flying sequences over these 2 barriers here. Okay, and Virgil's going to meet us by the main elevator. A divinity statue there if you want to avail yourself of it. I usually just wait until I start a chapter. What do we have here? I think this is the skippable fights with the harpies. So what I'm going to do is just do the streak. Is it called the streak anymore? No, the stinger. It's called the stinger attack. If you don't have enough Devil Trigger though, and you don't want to waste your Devil Stars, don't skip that fight. Just complete it and build your Devil Trigger up by doing different attacks. So we're coming up on the last fight.
Things will be pretty crazy.
And it really isn't the hardest. It's just that it's
Of hell.
okay. So it has some hidden items over there. It's just that there's a lot to it. There's several waves here, and these harpies are more problematic on this difficulty mode because of that aerial attack that they do, which keeps you out of the sky. But it would just be easier if you can better lock onto enemies. So what I'm doing is I'm latching onto these guys, and when I see the whirlwind, I'm trying to move from different targets. But one of the hazards over here is just falling off the building and receiving a lot of damage. So if you want to just do this tactic here where you're blowing them up, that's actually safer. Just watch out for any of the enemies who are still in the air because they love to stab you. But they do telegraph that move by like a screech or some kind of a sound effect that so you don't even have to look behind you. You'll know when it's coming. But there's that health pod right there you can get. There's also one health pod way up high, and you'll have to jump off a devil trigger, and enemies already up into the sky to get that one. See that one right up there? You'd have to fling an enemy who is like underneath that up into the air, latch onto them, and then jump over to it, which is just ridiculous. It's too hard to get. But this is the point at which I use my gold skull. And I haven't bought so many of them that they're extremely high priced, because the more of the items you buy on all the Devil May Cry games, they increase in price up until a certain point at which they stay, but it's a high price. So the priority here is just the harpies, I would say. Just get these guys cleared. The gun will normally aim at the harpies, which is nice. I mean, why the fuck would you want to aim at the tyrants? But what happens is this tyrant over there, he gets stuck. So if you have one of the tyrants over there, go over to this venue here because I can't get up. And if you stay over in this location, they're just not going to try to walk around and get up to this location here. It's really nice. So try to do that. Trying to do the Trinity Smash if I can get it. Nope, missed it right there. Here we go. There's a demon evade, but I missed because it doesn't properly line you up with the back of the enemy. I'm not sure why they didn't fine-tune that better. But I decided to use my devil trigger over here, not knowing that there was a couple more waves. But I'm generally pretty conservative with the devil trigger, and as you can see right there, I barely used any of it. So this guy actually killed me, which is ironic, since he's in a position where he can't even get up to me. But I just wasn't properly thinking straight over here, because I thought I had the upper hand, and I just got belligerent about it and thinking that I couldn't get hit when in fact I could. So if you want to do the forward triangle move, you can throw that into him if you want to. I don't think it takes hardly any damage off him though. But as you can see, there's the resurrection right there, and the next set of enemies here. Like, I like this fight though. I don't think there's any witches or anything. There could be, but we'll have to see. This might even be the final batch here, but this is wave 3. And I should have taken out the ghost rage, because I hate those guys more than the blood rages. So just definitely watch out for that. It'll take off like 5 bars. It's crazy. Really crazy. I think I get an environmental kill right here because I used a shredder move and he fell off. Nice. Is that the end of it? Yep. Oh no, see? Wave 4. Now we're dealing with the hell minions. And I think we might even see a butcher, but don't quote me on that one. Whenever you see me throw the blade in the air, it's because I think I have the Eric's equipped, or I think that I could switch to it quickly enough. And what do we have? Okay, we have a witch. So you'll definitely need a supply of Devil Trigger over here. Or at least a heal, which in my case I had to do via the Gold Skull. But I've maxed out my items. That's how many orbs you can get by having enemy kills to stack on top of all your deaths. I mean, you die 20 times, and well, I haven't died that many times in a level, but I've died like 12 times in a level, and like all of your points just accumulate and stack, and you'll end up like I refought the Mundus fight, the Mundus boss fight, Mundus spawn fight, and you get 5,000 for killing that boss fight. So if you want to farm for red orbs, it's a good idea too. The reason I had to refight that boss was because I didn't have my data saved and it wouldn't let me go to the next mission. But this is a really easy wave here, and I'm switching to the Eric's because there's just nothing better than this weapon because it cancels out faster. It's just quicker. It's a tad bit's less damaging, but that is mitigated by the fact that you can cancel out of attacks and you might probably not get damaged too much over here. Unless your timing is way off. But after this fight, we're going to do just one basic platforming section. And then we'll be on mission, 17? So I think this guy's last stand over here. I'm going to take him down to Chinatown. There we go. Fucker. Okay, now we get a checkpoint, and all you have to do is fly over to the other side. You don't have to have your Eric's equipped. It looks like it, but it's just going to be a cutscene when you get over there. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching this mission. I hope it helped you beat it, because it's a tough mission. And I'll see you in the next mission, mission 17.